and sleep without reading or listening these stories. But now in this generation, the children don't want to eat or sleep without mobile phone, without watching video, cartoon and YouTube. Am I openly aware of the fact that social media is ruining our marriage life? According to the scientific journal on computer human behaviors shows that social media is the fact that 3 in 7 divorces are causes of social media influences. Social media has been cited also the cause of daily argument in between 3 or every 5 couples. I still remember that my whole family, used to go shopping during Eid festival. We have so much precious time together, but we are losing it to these online shopping websites. And these online shopping websites is pretty much connected to this social media. Do you know that we don't have to go to the store to buy things? We can buy things just within a click now. And this is you call a social life? What kind of social life you are having?
The Bangabazar tragedy happened on Dhaka 4th April. $1 million worth ready-made garments were burnt in sudden fire and the business owners became destitute in a blink of an eye. Dear opponents, do you know who has taken the first step to overcome? A social media-based platform, Vidyanando, has started raising up a fund through the social media all over the world and buying the burnt clothes to give out to the poor people. They are helping the business owners as well as the poor people. Dear opponents, is this the way social media is hampering our social life? There are approximately 8 billion people on the world and approximately 4.9 billion people are using social media. We can see how much we are connected with it. During Corona pandemic, it was social media through which we spread out awareness, we spread out small business, and over our economy, we have started mobile banking to run our economy. Dear opponents, haven't you helped the society from your side? Now, I'd like to show you different examples how social media is helping our society. Social media helping our society and social media is helping through illiteracy and education. In this case, to teach the rural people, we are opening the open schools and students from different institutions are getting help from the online education sites like Instructure, Byju's, Quizlet, Udemy, Blackboard, Duolingo. My dear opponents, aren't you using the sites? Unemployment and poverty. According to this situation, social media has opened a huge field to charge small business that could be run from home. During social media, we can do it. And the main opportunities are freelancing, social media marketing, YouTubing, streaming that could help us to earn huge remittance for our country. So social media can help our economy. Communication and connectivity. To build up an efficient social life, creativity is must. Connectivity is must. We mariners are taking the most advantage of social media when we are living thousands miles away from our home, living in the blue water and dolphins world, thousands miles away from our beloved ones, connecting with them with the social media. Isn't it enough to prove that efficient use of social media can play the vital role to build up an efficient, modern and interconnected social media and social life? As we know, every coin has 2 parts. And the disadvantage comes from the user's disorder. Regulation and utilization can restrict the bad effects of each and every sector. The arms invented to protect the country, if it is used for terrorism, this is the problem of the terrorist, not about the invention. So I would like to conclude and I would like to say that utilized use of social media can help us to prevent the problems and help us to build up a social life that is efficient for us. Thank you everyone. Thank you for listening me with patience.
Thank you, my dear opponent. As you have said, I have said very first thing that you guys are, the problem is that you guys are putting everything on social media. Everything on social media, that's the point. Everything is not connected with social media. We have other lives. Expect social media. Try to be understand, okay? And you were saying, our second speaker said that unskillful people. How these unskillful people made it up? Most of the people are unskillful because they are wasting their time on chatting, messaging, using social media. You know, as my my second speaker mentioned of Japanese less social media users rate, do you know China is the home of largest technology companies like Huawei, Alibaba. China is one of the most technological advanced nation. You would be surprised to know that they don't use social medias like Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. They have their own social media platforms like WeChat, Weibo. They are clever enough to avoid this toxic, unrealistic world of lies in social media. They don't want to let those Western culture to alter their society. Okay, so even as you have mentioned about economy is increasing by social media, you have to know that China is the second largest economy with a GDP of 14 trillion US dollars. So you are talking about economy, how they are growing this economy. So I want to remind my opponent that, do you know, in this modern social media world, the most terrifying problem now is that lack of privacy, risk of losing your personal data. According to the research survey of cybersecurity expert Johnny McQuaid, 80% of Americans are concerned about their privacy on social media websites. The scary truth that the scammer can use this information you freely give out on social media by your post, by your profile, by your behavior act. They can spy you, they can scam you out of money, they can even track your location and steal your identity. According to the Federal Trade Commission, out of every 3 victims are targeted on social media last year, leading a losses of 770 million US dollars. I don't know what kind of social life you are having with these kinds of insecurities. So if you take a step further back and examine why this social media corrupting our social life, as the answer I think we all know. Social media create feeling of envy, anxiety and install us with a fake belief that other people are living happy and successful life. Point to be noted, judges, that social media is not evil, but it can be very dishonest. It presents us a standard which is unrealistic, a reality which is not real. Because of social media, we do things that we don't like to show people who don't care. You know, in summary, my message is simple. We need not to condemn social media, but to aware of the fact that this is hampering our social life, and all the problem you are mentioning is all connected to social media. That's why we can say that this is the only means of hampering our social life. So today I want to say all of you that it's time stop stalking and start stalking. And sometimes you can learn more by looking someone in the eye other than looking someone's profile. Thank you everyone. Thank you.
And my dear cadets, Assalamu alaikum and very good morning indeed. Just a couple of minutes back, we enjoyed a very good debate performed by the Marine Cadets Bangladesh Marine Academy, Rangpur. The topic is very much interesting as well as the time demanded. Every day we are getting messages of violence, the message of the advantages and disadvantages of social media, and hue and cry is going on whether this social media is that much valuable and what the importance. Now the time to evaluate whether we'll go for random use or should be restricted. By this time the debaters mentioned few countries they restricted the use of this social media, but thing is that this is the time to decide, and self-realization is the most important to judge the fact. Nowadays we are claiming the modern world, and we are very much related with the social media, starting from getting up from the bed to going to bed. Every second we are just added with any of the social media. Our personal life, our social life, as well as our corporate life is very much related with the social media. So if we think our business purpose, nowadays we cannot think of the absence of social media. If we think of the simplicity of life, we cannot think out of social media. If we think the education sector, every sector, we are just very much bounded with this social media. Now thing is that the purpose oriented and not purpose oriented, how much we are using this social media in our purposefully. If it is purposefully, then that is that gives them benefit. And if our people just using this social media, just passing time, it does not utilize the proper utilization of their time, then that's the problem. If I divide our 24 hours a day and working time from morning to evening, if we just consider, so if we just use 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, that's the most valuable time. So if we use unnecessary this social media, that's the problem. In the social bondage, the social media is playing a vital role for social bondage as well as it is hampering our life. But think that when we are using and how we are using to make our family life easy, that's our business and completely vested upon us. But problem is that everything is very much business oriented, and the corporate house, they are sometimes imposing the fact of use this social media, and there are so many options that derailing our young generation. That's the problem. The young generation, that's the ultimate future of every nation. So if the young generation is derailed, so that is the ultimate fact of thinking. So everything, there is a good side and bad side. So definitely social media having good side and bad side, but to make it good, we need to think. We need to know the appropriate knowledge. We should have knowledge which one is good and which one is bad. So we need to select the good one so that we can make our life easy, and we can tell social media is helping us to building a good society. So this is not only our business, it is also the business of the corporate house as well. So thank you very much for enjoying this debate.
We really enjoyed the debate, and I think which was before I pointed out, they are also cleared that this is not the only means which is hampering the social life. So, and they pointed out, I hope they increased and they have submitted some data also. So for this respect also I like to say my honorable guests to consider on this for our cadets, how they are approaching is for their and how they are doing in these sectors also. They are participating in every way, everywhere they have engaged. So I hope everybody enjoyed, and thank you for.
I hope everybody is attention who is the champion. Okay, so M is the champion, so that is Vision Talk.
I would like to deliver this speech to the cadets mainly because of course the instructors, they are already more knowledgeable than me about this profession. So the cadets, where you sit today, 30 years back I was sitting in the same chair, maybe not in Rangpur, in Chittagong. So 30 years back I was in Marine Academy 29 batch. So you see, after a lot of thick and thin and a lot of hardship, of course, because training in the academy is not easy. It's not really a bed of roses, as you see. Lots of challenges, lots of hardship, staying without the family, first time out of home, and many other things. So I have been through these things as well, and you see today I am here, at least standing in front of you, delivering a speech. I have become managing director of a good, company, well-renowned company. I am doing a business. I have become a chief engineer. I have become a chartered engineer. So from your seat in say 20 years, I have come here. So each of you will also be coming in this position, even better than me. You will become maybe surveyors of Bangladesh Department of Shipping. You will become managers of international shipping companies. Many of my batchmates are already managers in very big shipping companies in the world. One of my batchmates is a director in the MISC. So the sky is the limit. Where you can go from that chair, nobody knows. If the God Almighty is always helping you, and most important, you try. You have that feeling and confidence inside you that you can do it, you can go anywhere. Abdul Awal Mintu, I think you have heard of him. He is a very big businessman. He is also from Bangladesh Marine Academy. So, lot of guys from Bangladesh Marine Academy has become international personalities. Even in the UK, many big positions in the UK MCA and the UK IMO team, many big positions are held by Bangladeshi mariners, Bangladeshi ex-cadets from Bangladesh Marine Academy. So, sky is the limit. Only thing you have to do is you have to train yourself hard, work hard, train hard, and then try to be the best possible man possible. Okay? So, hopefully in the next few decades, we will see some very good marine professionals. I'm not saying seafarer, marine professionals. What we need is marine professionals. As the government is very keen on developing the blue economy, I think you know about it. So part of the blue economy is developing these marine professionals who will be in the future leading our blue economy, leading Bangladesh as a maritime nation. So gentlemen, this is only the stepping stone. Stepping stone, getting inside into this academy, completing the training, and then onwards going to a company, join as a cadet, complete your onboard training, get the COC. These are only stepping stones. So every part of your life, you have to try your best. Try your best, give your best, and learn always. There is no end in learning. You become a master mariner, there is still a very big scope of learning. You become a superintendent, there is even bigger scope of learning. You become a surveyor, the scope of learning is endless, seriously speaking. Because every chapter of your life you open, you see that opens a million doors. The doors previously you didn't even know existed. Suppose you are a cadet, you think your professional life is limited within a certain circle. Once you break that circle, go to the next step, you will see that your professional life circle has increased, the diameter has increased, and many other doors have opened. And similarly, up to masters, superintendent, surveyor, or these positions, every position will give you new opportunity to learn and expand. So, try many things. When I was cadet, I was thinking, why am I doing this? What is the reason to cut my hair like this? First thing about having a haircut like that is to understand that your ego is not the supreme thing that you should abide by. Second is that you are equal to all. This is a very important lesson. I learned this lesson long back, long after I actually had the haircut first. I was in cadet college, so I was having this haircut since class 7. So I never understood that why this kind of a haircut is necessary for a cadet. But I realized this after a long time, that this is the ego. If you keep the ego in your heart, that you are the best and you have already earned all the knowledge in the world and you don't have to learn anymore, you don't have to do hard work anymore, that's the biggest mistake in your life. There is no end in learning. And also, you are not above anybody. As a human being, you are equal, but once you are showing your performance, once you have that ability to prove yourself, then maybe other people will say that no, he is lesser than ordinary. Not understand? That means you are above ordinary. So that is what your lifelong goal should be, that you try to prove yourself, always. So anyway, about Marine Hive, let me tell you something about Marine Hive. I was a superintendent in ASP Tankers, Singapore, and I was managing chemical tankers there. After that, I didn't actually like Singapore life that much, and I left and came to Bangladesh. And then I started this Marine Hive Limited crewing company. So last 8 years, almost, yes, 8 years have passed. And we have once in a while, once upon a time in Bangladesh, there was a huge crisis of jobs for cadets. Cadets were doing human chains in the street, and they were arranging, what should I say, possessions in the street for in demand of job. So at that time, Marine Hive employed 250 plus Bangladesh Marine Academy cadets. And the whole backlog of the cadets actually got cleared. And we were part of the procedure of getting the guys on board. So last 8 years we have placed more than 1,200 cadets on board. So it is very, for us, putting a cadet on board is not very difficult. It is hard because I have to convince the owner that take this cadet, you will be an asset to your company. It is harder for you. Because you, once on board, you need to prove yourself that you are worth it. A company is taking on board a cadet who is there only for training purpose and maybe helping a little bit, because you don't know any job actually, because professionally you are not competent yet. So you must prove yourself that you are worth it, that they are spending the money to take you on board, pay you a salary, train you up, and you can give in return. What you can give once you become a competent officer, once you become a competent mariner, that time you can join the company and give back to them your services. That is the main intention of an owner to recruit a cadet, to bring up, to grow a pool of officers, own officers trained in their own system. So cadets, thank you for the warm hospitality. I don't want to take much time. I know everybody is fasting, and I hope to see you in one of the vessels of Captain Liu here very soon. So work hard, play hard, train hard. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
The two training on board. Luckily, you have a very good teacher. Today we have met your Captain Sabrik and Chief Engineer Mejuvo. It's a very good experienced teacher. And today we have the competition. I think not only study the knowledge of the navigation major, but also other things. For example, today the social media is quite important here. During these 3 years, the COVID-19, we found that is mental experience is very important. So as before, I will see ferries. Sometimes we don't have too much apps to contact with the family, but now it's come out. Okay, it's quite good things to everybody. If you come on board, you have the internet. The social media, I think for me, compare before and now, the social media for me is a mobile phone to contact with family, you know. It's quite important, especially a long journey from Brazil back to China, about 2.5 months. If you don't have any information from family, you know, but nowadays, so young generations, it's very difficult. But now we change. Okay, we have that, so don't worry, you're not only anymore. And another thing is, you know, for the Bangladesh crew, now all the world to aware of that, the Bangladesh crew is very excellent. So we now have the arrive the chemical tanker. The Bangladesh crew do very good performance. That's why my boss let me come to Bangladesh and to visit the academy and have a look good quality crews for our future. You know, for ships, the human factor is very important. Without that, okay, they're just a very cold machine. How to let the ships running? Definitely, we need the human. We need our professional seafarers. I also graduated from school and from the cadet become captain. I used 11 years. I work as before. I work service on Wallen. Okay, I focus on the service on board, and every time, you know, if I want to promotion, I have to see, you know, you have to do a good performance, attitude, diligence, like that. At school, you know, here is like the military. It's like my university also. They control everything and make everybody like the military. It's very important when you come on board, because the commander follow the order for the crews, for seafarers, is the top one serious things. Okay, everybody will become the chief engineer and captain. I think not too long journey, and I wish before you come on board and you focus on your study and also the social media like that, to focus on everything you can think about. To my surprise, here from the competition, everybody English level is better than me, even in Chinese. Okay, I'm so glad. Okay, now I'm the ship's owner, also management company. We face to the red ship inspection for Bulgaria, SAR 2.0 inspection for chemical tankers, and the main theory is that English communication. Not only the senior, junior officer, but ratings also. Okay, either. So in the future, I think, okay, we have a good academy, a good human resource, a good education, good teacher here. The Bangladesh will next step will let all the world surprise. I hope everybody graduates and have good future and good cooperation with our company. Thank you.
Not all the chemical tanker. We have bulk area, just what I said, bulk area and chemical tanker. Not oil tanker, chemical tanker.
According to the issue, we're providing some at least 5 pilot engine pump brake. So how many you are going to provide the mechanical tanker? How many you are going to provide in the bulk area?
Bulk area, it depends on about your cadet's opinion. I'm not sure. That's what I want to discuss more. You know, in China, some crews graduate from school, they would like to service on the chemical tanker. They think it's harmful for their health. And it depends on if I require 5, but I'm not sure all the cadets would like to start on the chemical tanker. So I choose okay.
The thing is, okay. The issue is selection cannot be made beforehand, because the vessel must have an opening first. So once the vessel has an opening, the port is, we must know which port, whether we can put a Bangladeshi crew on board or not. So many issues are there. We will try to provide, because most lucrative is chemical tankers. So we will try to provide most of the cadets to chemical tankers first.
Yes.
And then, of course, it doesn't matter that first contract you do in chemical tankers, second contract you can always do in the bulk carrier, or first vice versa. And one thing the cadets must remember, no company, hardly few, other than a few Bangladeshi company, will entrust this $1 billion property on a cadet after 12 months of completion of his CTAM, just appeared through the COC, past COC, fresh COC as an officer. He must complete at least few months, few contracts on board before he gets the COC or after the COC. And then he must gain the confidence of the owner and confidence of the on-board senior officer that this guy can be entrusted upon with this property, this $1 billion property, right? One ship costs $1 million and the cargo is $1 billion. And if there is any accident, any mishap, independent watchkeeper, especially the deck watchkeepers, they are keeping independent watch. 8 to 12 is third officer. In a channel or in a congested water, if any incident happens. So these things are, we do risk assessments all the time. So all the companies, they do the risk assessment. So they will never agree that 12 months CTAM and then he has a gap of 1 year or more and then he has passed the COC and come on board as third officer. It's very rare. It's not that it's not happening, but it's very rare. So cadets must be prepared mentally that they have to go through a process and they need a considerable experience to become an officer.
Okay, so how many ships you are owning now? How many ships you are the owner, and then how many ships you are managing, and also how many ships you are chartering? Can you please tell us?
Now, for our own ships, 12 handy-size, one domestic vessels, 17, 2 Capesize, 2 MPP, and 12 chemical tanker, 10 domestic around the river. But anyway, we have also the third party, managed 5 vessels from very big company in Haihong in China. Okay. Besides this one, my boss have another company. It's not for this group, another group, not this group. Also from Germany, Nodiac, from Vichy, Bulgaria. But others I don't know exactly. They invested so many. I'm not sure. Even the coffee bar, I just come from Thailand. Even the Thailand coffee bar, the logo is 100%. This our boss running. I'm not sure how many others. But for ours here, it's about 30 vessels. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, how frequently are you going to recruit the cadets? That means, for example, after passing out from here in the academy, how many months they recur, or after completion of suppose 6 months or 9 months, 12 months, how frequently are you going to recruit them again? What is the policy?
This also depends. As we try to give placement of the cadet as soon as possible. As soon as possible, they are ready with the CTC and all the certificates. But again, it depends on the opening. If there is an opening on board, because a ship has got minimum safe-man certificate and also lifeboat capacity, and it's a commercial venture, so nobody will be willing to put unnecessary manpower on board and spend the money. Of course, training is an investment, that's why they want to take care of it. But the thing is, all parties should be, all parties should be comfortable with the arrangement. So it will happen as when one cadet will sign off, then he will be replaced by a cadet from Bangladesh Marine Academy output.
and that will be as soon as possible. If new takeovers, like we are taking over the vessels, we have taken over 2 vessels in the last 4 or 5 months, and 1 bulk carrier. Gradually we are sending gradually sending the food, officers and food. So in that case, whenever there is a chance, we will, first opportunity, we will try to put the carrots on board, but cannot be like this. I cannot give what may happen in the future. I cannot predict now at this moment.
I got the points. Thank you very much.
Any question?
I just talk a little bit more, okay? So, you know, as the ship owner, we also manage the company. Okay, we can select the time, right time, you know, on board. If the students are very excellent, okay, we can negotiate with the Chivinian Omar, okay? Actual talent.
Yes.
Yes.